Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at what the best embellishments are for your crafted items and which items you should craft for your specialization and classes. This will be based on Season 2. For players who don't know, let's just quickly run through missives and embellishments. Missives are items you can purchase off the auction house or craft that will allow you to control the secondary stats of an item that you craft. These are something you should be using whenever you're crafting an item, and the stats will be based on those that you think are necessary. Embellishments are slightly different. They're very similar to enchanting. They add special effects to your items, almost like set piece kind of effects, but at a little bit of a lower scale. Embellishments are very powerful because they're separate to enchanting. So you can enchant a piece of gear that is embellished, but you are only allowed to have 2 embellished pieces of gear on at any given time. So be very, very careful with which embellishments you use and which pieces of gear you use them on. Now, in terms of applying missives and embellishments, it's very simple. If you're crafting the item yourself, you just apply them in the bottom section, the optional reagents. They will add difficulty to the recipe, so make sure that you are very comfortable producing the item at a super high level of quality, because they do add on a ton of difficulty. Well, not a ton, but they add on difficulty. If you are getting your item crafted via crafting order, you simply add them at the bottom in a similar space, but when you're making the order, you have to have the items present on you before you place the order. Please also be very careful if you do this when you're doing a public order, as like I said, it adds recipe difficulty, and with public orders you have no control over the quality of the item you get back. So if you are producing a public order and you send it out into the world with these items selected, it's going to be harder, it's going to be tougher, and if someone is just looking to do it and just kind of get it done, you're going to struggle a little bit. So please be super duper careful with that. And with that being said, let's go talk about which is best for who. So let's talk about the best embellishments for Season 2 for your class and which crafted piece of gear you should be making. Now remember, this doesn't mean you can't make more than one piece of gear for whatever class you're using, but generally speaking what this means is that there's other BIS options. If you find yourself having spare sparks, you want to craft yourself an extra piece of gear, you're not getting a good drop rate, please feel free to. Also note that all of this information can be found on Wowhead, who have a little bit more detail if you're looking into crafting the item, or more specifically, any other potential changes. So for Druid, for Balanced Druid, they'll be making the Vagabond's Bounding Baton, looking and focusing on Darkmoon Sigils. Feral Druid, Charged Halberd, Guardian Druid, Charged Halberd, Restoration Druid, Vagabond's Bounding Baton. A lot of the times you'll find, especially for one-handed items, one-handed weapons, it's going to be common for a lot of classes, because the reason why is that a lot of the times the one-handed weapons don't have any specific requirements, and so giving them, for example, an elemental focusing lens which increases magic damage, or giving them in some situations items that proc secondary stat increases is going to be good. In terms of the next one, for DKs, again, cloaks, you'll see are often very big purchases. Cloaks are usually up there, mainly because, again, generally your cloak's more of just a stat stick, giving it some embellishment, giving it a little bit more purpose, having a bit more control over your cloak is something that is very, very important. In terms of demon hunters, again, you can see one-handed weapons, you can also see armbands, you can see waist pieces. So again, just generally speaking, some pretty good standard kind of once-off pieces. For Vengeance Demon Hunters, the Blessed Weapon Grip is pretty good. For most tanks, it's a pretty nice option. You'll see that under a lot of tanks, you'll generally either see Dawn Thread Lining, or you'll see Blessed Weapon Grip for the secondary stats. Augmentation Evoker, Devastation Evoker, Preservation Evoker. You're going to see that Vagabond's Bounding Baton quite commonly. A lot of the times on most kind of arcane classes, you'll see Darkmoon Sigil Ascension, largely because of the magic damage proc increase. And you'll see maybe Writhing Armor Banding for a little bit more of that tankiness that you can have. For Hunter, Dawn Train Lighting is a very common, very kind of happy one. You'll see that Marksmanship Hunter specifically actually has a weapon, and that's because the weapon from the engineering class is actually BIS, largely due to the stat control and how important that is for Marksmanship Hunters. Remember, missives can help you in terms of controlling your stats. For Arcane Mage, again, we see that Darkmoon Sigil just kind of really rotating around, and that Vagabond's Bounding Baton also just kind of really, showing its kind of foray there. Mistweaver Monk or Brewmaster Monk or Windwalker Monk, again, you can see that Writhing Armor Banding quite common here. A little bit different for these guys because obviously Monk in its own way is a little bit unique in design, being kind of more like a melee kind of class that's quite flexible. So in general, I would say, probably one of the weirder, slightly more variable spreads. Paladin, generally pretty straightforward. You see again that Darkmoon Sigil Ascension, very common. Anyone that's casting spells or doing any kind of damage that isn't just physical, you're going to see that Darkmoon Sigil Ascension because magic damage or just damage in general is so crucial. Priest, again, Darkmoon Sigil Ascension, Bounding Baton, super straightforward, very, very, very common, very popular. Assassination Rogue, Outlaw Rogue, Subtlety Rogue, again, can kind of see here that Darkmoon Sigil Ascension just always kind of popping up because, like I said, any kind of damage that isn't just physical damage, it's going to be super popular, it's going to be up there. You can obviously maybe look at some more tankiness. You can kind of see people looking at giving themselves a little bit more in terms of like some potential damage, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Elemental Shaman, Darkmoon Sigil Ascension, always pretty much there again. Vagabond's Bounding Baton, Charged Face Smasher, but again, one-handed weapons, lots and lots of one-handed weapons, always appearing, just kind of showcasing and just rocking up. Warlock, same thing, pretty much identical to all the spellcasting classes we've seen so far. And then finally Warrior, again, pretty common stuff. So, always this is just a suggestion, but with crests coming around, I think it's a lot easier to get kind of crests, and I think with players wanting to target more crucial upgrades and like crucial items that are more BIS, I think this kind of list just helps. Hopefully this has helped you guys. If you need any more assistance, let me know, but otherwise I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care and bye.